you can take what they say with a grain of salt because it may not be a reflection of you. I think anytime that I've had a client, especially in the latter part of my career as a makeup artist, like full-fledged makeup artist, anybody that didn't like their makeup, it was a reflection of their insecurities, unfortunately. Where they loved their makeup when they, before they left, and they get home and be like, the nose, I just wish it was more contoured. I just wish my cheeks were more contoured. Like, friend, you gotta come with that face first. You gotta bring the face to me because the type of artist that I am is one that's going to enhance you. If you were looking for this particular style, you should have went over there. And I could have referred you to anyone.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Aquia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives, just like you, on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join us in the Facebook community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, let's get social. Follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I appreciate it more than you know. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. Additionally, Friends in Beauty is now on Patreon. So for as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends in Beauty podcast. And there are also several tiers available that unlock Patreon exclusive content just for you, like behind the scene content of the Friends in Beauty podcast, bonus interview clips, a monthly Ask Me Anything, discounts, and so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave the link down below in the show description for that as well. Also, if you'd like to stay connected even further, join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe. They are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different resources and tips throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, join us over there. And last but not least, listen up. The most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome makeup artist mentor Terri Watson to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Terri Watson, a 26-year-old Atlanta native, is the epitome of passion-driven. She began her journey of makeup artistry in late 2016, and her motto, "This is deeper than makeup," has stuck since then, as she spent 5 years building a beauty brand loved by many. In the meantime, she has also shared social media, marketing, and branding tips. She has worked with some of your favorite brands, such as Africa's Best Hair Care, Rolling Stone, Love and Hip Hop, Good Morning America, Nike, and the list goes on. She soon realized that there was something missing in the beauty industry and decided that she would do something about it. In early 2021, she pivoted to educating makeup artists on business, branding, and artistry. Her goal is to help makeup artists stop shortchanging themselves, attract high-value clients, and crush their business goals, holding herself to a high standard. Terri is a visionary, a leader, and a cultivator of creating opportunities that lead to lifetime connections. I had such a wonderful time chatting with Terri. We've been friends on Instagram for a minute, so it was super cool to finally meet her and learn so much more about her and her business. In this interview, Terri shares how she got her start as a makeup artist, what made her pivot to education, the sacrifices that she's had to make with her business to set herself up for success, marketing tactics that makeup artists can use to attract their ideal clients, tips for setting your rates, social media tips for making the most of your content creation, how to professionally deal with conflict with clients, and so much more. This was such a great conversation with Terri. It's been a while since I've had another makeup artist on the podcast, so we talked for quite some time. Let's go ahead and jump into this chat with Terri, and if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Terri.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. And I was just telling you, so excited to finally meet you in person because you know when you follow people on social media for a while, it feels like you know them.
It's giving bestie.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like I met her before, but I've never met you in person before.
No, but that's okay. I love that Instagram makes those connections.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for being here. Before we get started, I like to start off with some icebreakers to get us warmed up and so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you outside of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh, 3 random facts. I am 26. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I have an unhealthy obsession with books.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of books?
I'm into like rom-com and like fantasy. Mm-hmm. I used to try to read like self-help, but they just never got read.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Unless it's like an entertaining self-help book, because some of them are kind of boring.
Right.
I can see that. That's cool.
Oh, very boring. I prefer it in podcast form if it's gonna be self-help.
Yeah, that's so true. It's easier to listen to those type of things because then it starts to feel like affirmations or something.
Yeah, like I'm actually downloading this. When I'm just reading, I'm like, can we get to the end? Like, can somebody tell me all of this stuff in 5 minutes?
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, so I had these pod decks, girl. So this one is a would you rather and a what the heck. They have these random questions in there.
Wait, would you rather and what's the other one?
What the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck?
Me. For 500, Alex.
Yes. And sometimes it's weird. I'm like, oh my God, why would you put this in?
Why would you? Yeah, right.
Oh, this is interesting. Have you ever been electrocuted?
No. I would hate to have said yes to that. That would be so unfortunate. But no, I haven't.
Let me do another one.
Yeah. I wanna say yes to something.
Oh, this is interesting. This is a big debate for some reason. Toilet paper.
Ooh, okay.
Like toilet paper, over or under?
I prefer under. I thought you were gonna ask me 2-ply or 1-ply.
I saw that one lately too.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer under. I just feel like if you do over, like the rotation not happening like it's supposed to.
I don't even have a preference. Like I probably have to pay attention to how I probably do it the same way all the time, but it's not like intentional.
Yeah, I don't think I do it intentionally at the same time, but like if I see that my toilet tissue is over, I will probably switch it to under.
Go to people's houses, switching their toilet paper.
Right, like let me make sure the feng shui on this toilet tissue is right.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from makeup, of course?
Ooh, for years I've gotten that I was great at design, which is what I do for my mentees now. But like when I first started educating, I started with like teaching people how to design straight from their phone.
Yeah, like Canva and stuff like that.
And then like also just like other phone apps. I was using those and teaching people how to do that. What else? I think there's one more thing. Oh, I'm really great at coming up with ideas like on the spot. I can rebrand someone in like milliseconds.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I'm going through this program right now, brand rehab program. And that's like how
Hmm.
our coach.
With Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Ronnie.
I did see your I think you guys had to tell a story. I
Yes.
saw it on live. Yeah, yeah, that was huge.
I love it. But like that's how she is because there's so many people in the group.
Hmm.
And like on the first call, she was just able, everybody's like in different industries, and she was able to just come up with ideas just like that on what they should be doing. And I thought that was just so
Yeah,
cool. Mm.
yeah. That's definitely a superpower of mine. I saw Pinky Cole do something similar at were you at Phyllis Fund? It
Mm-mm.
was they had a venture capital um, conference in Atlanta like a couple weeks last week, I think.
Okay.
Um, and I saw Pinky Cole, who owns Slutty Vegan. She was like a panelist, and people were talking about, I have this business, but I don't know how to market it. And when I tell you, she was just like spitballing things. I had never seen anybody else be able to do that before.
I love it. And I love Slutty
Yeah,
Vegan. Anytime I come to
love Slutty
Atlanta,
Vegan.
I'm standing in that line.
In the line, okay, every time. But you got to go on like a 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. There's no line.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah,
now I know. But they're
right now you know.
open up one next week in Brooklyn, so that might be a little bit better.
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
Brooklyn? I
it's
know
gonna
it's
be
in New
much
York.
closer.
Yeah, that's gonna be better for me.
Yeah, I love it. You deserve.
Yes, I do. I do.
You do.
When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
I don't know. Last time that I did something for the first time.
Mhm. This one always gets people.
Okay, good. Because I'm like stumped. Last time that I did something for the first time, I can't say that I've had any first time things recently.
Hmm.
Actually, how is this podcast PG?
It's whatever.
Okay, so I went to a poetry night, but it was like a kinky poetry night.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's
Um, but I will say that was the first time that I ever done anything like that, and that was like maybe a week ago.
were you like shocked by some of the poems? Like, oh,
Oh, for sure. I was like, oh, they are really, you know, saying what they mean.
they're taking it there. Okay.
Taking it there. But no, it was a great time. And they also had like a burlesque show. That was my first time at burlesque too. So I, like both at the same time.
That's cool. I've never been to a burlesque show, but I've always wanted to go to one just to see what it's all
Oh
about.
yeah. Very entertaining. They were pulling people from the crowd. I was like, this is fun.
I
This is
love
a good time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So where? Yeah. Where's the last place that you traveled to for vacation?
Miami. That was last year for my birthday. I'm literally planning a vacation right now because I don't really vacation like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm about to get in my vacation bag though.
You should treat
Okay.
yourself. You deserve it. You've been working
I
hard.
do. I do be working hard, and Tulum is about to see me in a couple weeks, so I
Period.
need that. Right.
When's your birthday?
May 26th. So I'm a Gemini.
Okay, nice, nice. I love Geminis. My sister's a Gemini,
Yay.
so we've always been like this. I'm an Aquarius, so we've always been pretty close.
Oh, I love it. I didn't think that I really. It's not that I didn't really like Aquarius. I just didn't really know many, you know. But I do have an Aquarius friend who I was just helping branding yesterday, and love y'all down. Yeah, and do.
Yes, last one. So if you were a makeup artist and an educator, what else could you see yourself doing?
That's a good question. I really want to own a brand that does not have my name attached to it. Like, I just want to sell stuff without anybody knowing it's me, and it be $1 million company.
I've had the same idea. I've been telling my friends this all the time. I was like, I want a faceless brand so bad. And
So
just like
bad.
sometimes when I think of ideas like this, I just want to do it as like an experiment. Just to like to
Yes.
sometimes like the difference between me having my face on something versus not.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yes, I'm with you on
Yeah.
it.
I'm working on one. So I'm gonna share the details real quick because it's not launched yet, of course, but it's called Hello Z9, and it's a tech company for influencers.
Yes.
So essentially, we just sell, or we're going to sell, tech gadgets for influencers. But I mean, like anybody can use them. So like microphones, lights, USBs, hard drives,
Yeah.
stuff. Like everything that you need to just become an influencer.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So do you have
Yeah, of course.
a tech background?
I don't have a tech background, but I do love all things tech. I love tech software. I love new gadgets. That's just like a thing. Like whenever my boyfriend gets, because he does like videography and things like that. So he brings home a drone or, like a gimbal. I'm just like, wow, this is so cool. Not that I know how to use them,
Yeah.
but I think it's cool nonetheless. So I'm definitely an interest in the tech world, not a geek yet.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah, that's so cool. I wish I had a
Yeah.
boyfriend that can help me with my business that way. Cause like, do you use him for videography?
Oh, do I? He's gonna be helping me this Sunday. I'm hosting a free co-working event. So he's gonna be recording everything for me. So whenever I do events, he's usually my videographer, photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Love that for me.
So what's the co-working event all about?
So I just realized that there was a need for community, like in-person events, especially after COVID and things like that. So I have 20 makeup artists coming out just for a very simple co-working event. It's free. My good friend, Shakidra, she owns a photography studio in East Point, Georgia called Le Marché. Shout out to her. And shout out to her studio. But yeah, she was like, girl, I know that you need to do an event here. So let's make that happen. So I announced it like a couple weeks ago, just saying like, hey, let's co-work, y'all, like bring your laptops, have fun, engage, blah, blah, have some resources there. And I had 70 people sign up, which I
Wow.
was not expecting at all. I was so ready to just be like, promoting for a couple days, like, yeah, come out to my free event. But before, like 8 hours in, I was like almost at 100 people. So I capped it at 20. I created a wait list. It's a whole thing. I was so overwhelmed. Like, did I really just announce this whole thing? And this many people signed up. So I'm excited to see how this event is going to go, because I'll definitely do another one in October.
Yeah, so that means that is an interest there, obviously.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
Cool.
There's an interest there for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to do something similar where like maybe like not 20 people, but like a nice number of makeup artists can come just like create content, create looks and stuff like that. And I'll be there like if they want to, get some critiques or something like that on their artistry. I thought about
Absolutely
like that. That's fun.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I tried to do like a content day and no one signed up. So I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe this is not what people need. So I'm definitely gonna do some polling at the co-working event to see like what people really want from me.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing about being a coach is like, not everything works.
Yes, girl. I
Yeah.
already know. It's so many things I've come up with and like it'd be crickets. Like
Cricket.
I'm like,
And
dang, I
that's
thought this
okay.
was good. Like
Right. I thought
I
it was
would
given.
want this.
Right. I would want, especially young, new artists, me would love something like this. And would make it a priority to make it happen. But the girls, they didn't think the same. And that's okay. Not everything is gonna be a hit.
Yeah, true. So who is Terri the person versus Terri the makeup artist?
Terri the person, I think they're the same person. I like to show who I am in my artistry and also on social media. But Terri the person, she's fun. She's an introverted extrovert for sure. And that's something I just confirmed like the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I love to be at home. Like I've created a space that I enjoy. And I will literally just sit and read my book for hours. Like, oh my gosh, did I eat today? No, because I've been reading my book for, so long. But Terri the person, she's kind, she's helpful, she's caring. She loves what she does and tries to enjoy life to the fullest capacity. Terri, the makeup artist, or Terri, the educator, she is about her business. Okay. She's about her business. I'm a Gemini, but I have a Virgo moon. So I am like organized chaos to the max. Okay. Um, so I think when it comes to me being a business owner, Terri the person, she's like, I just want to have fun. Like, let's go do something random today. And my Virgo moon has to reel me back in when it comes to business. Like, I can be so impulsive. Or I used to be. I'm trying to mature, be a better person. Yeah. But lately I've been prioritizing just kind of sitting on my ideas and not allowing my impulsivity to take control, especially because I don't know if you know, but I moved into VIP coaching for makeup artists. So I coach them long term now for 3+ months, in a lot of cases. And with that, I feel like I get to be a lot more spontaneous because every day is new. But my brain is still like, drop an event, like drop this, on a random Tuesday with no planning, no nothing. But I'm trying to be a lot more steadfast about making sure it's the right decision, checking in with my heart, checking in with God to know that this is the right thing to do, and kind of letting things marinate. For me, I'm just like, why I need to marinate? One half of me, on this show, it's like, why does it need to marinate? And then the other side is like, it needs to marinate because you need to make sure it's a go, and it's sustainable too, because that's one thing about just releasing something or launching something. You have to make sure it can stand the test of time, or be ready to pivot if the time comes.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are your earliest memories of makeup? Did you grow up surrounded by like beauty or anything like that?
I mean, my mom, she did her makeup sometimes. I just remember her having this like pressed foundation. Like it wasn't like a pressed powder. It was like, like that old school compact. Yeah. She had one of those. I remember taking it to school one time because I just knew I needed a little something on, a little blush, a little foundation. But I will say those are my earliest memories. But I think that was also coupled with YouTube, because I think my first idea of, like I might love makeup was definitely like 2010, 2011, with the boom of like YouTube tutorials like Jackie Aina, Makeup Shayla, Aaliyah J, all the girls, and then I was like, I need to go get that compact out of my mom's room. Like I need to have parts.
Yes. When did she let you start wearing makeup?
I don't think that it was a matter of like, hey, you can wear makeup now. It was just like, I don't think I really had an interest in it. I have 2 older sisters. Okay. They're 12 and 14 years older than me. So I was wearing sew-ins in maybe like 8th grade. Like maybe before that, I don't know. But I was just so like involved in all beauty spaces. Like I had all the bangles, I had all the, the clothes, because my sisters, they paved the way for me. Yeah. But when it came to makeup and just like any type of beauty, in the beauty arena, I'm just so simple. I'm still like that, even as a makeup artist now. I'm not a makeup hoarder. I buy what works every single time. Like I am not about to have 16 million palettes at home and then another 16 million in the studio. I'm not about to do that. So I think even then it was just like, I just want a little, a little brow, a little lip and a little, powder.
That is so true. I was over one of my friend's house last Friday and she was like, come, let me show you all of my makeup. She's not even a makeup artist, but when I told her, I said, you literally have more makeup than I own personally for myself. Like
the makeup enthusiasts love to splurge on makeup. They love it.
Oh, and she ended up giving me an extra palette that she had. She had like a duplicate of it. I was like, girl, see, I'll do that. I'll take the makeup, but I'm not here buying all that stuff.
Right. I have I hate saying this name, but I have a Jeffree Star. I have a Jeffree Star palette, and I would have never, ever, ever, ever invested in something like that. But it was a gift, and she works really well.
Mhm.
When I'm doing tutorials, I'm just like, you guys don't need this palette. Here's a dupe, you know. But yeah, like I'm always gonna be receiving, not investing in new things. I need to know that it works. Usually, when I invest in something, it's like I, number one, saw it on the page, the beauty page, but also I need to see that another makeup artist has already green lighted this thing for me.
Right, right.
Yeah.
True. So when did you get into makeup professionally?
Professionally, 2016, 2017.
Mhm.
I tried to get into makeup. So I went to college in 2014. My stepmom, she bought me like palettes and brushes, and I was like, this is how I make my money. But then I was just, engulfed in school, which I was initially there for an education degree, but ended up switching. Anyways, so I had done makeup for like my friends and things like that. But the first time that I had ever touched a face that was not family or friends was like the latter part of 2016.
Mhm.
It was for a job interview for a makeup kiosk in the mall that was near my university.
Okay.
That was the very first time, and that was a whole thing because I was like, I really need this job. It was like winter break, and I was like, I cannot be out here broke. So I went to the interview, and the manager was like, "Can you come back on Tuesday for a demo?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And I was walking away, and I was like, "I'm gonna do this shit right now.
I know that's
I'm
right.
gonna do this right now." So I ended up, asking her like, "Can I do it right now?" I found somebody. I got my kid in the car. I scavenged the mall for like 20 minutes. Like, "Hey, could you be my model? Could you be a model?"
Yeah.
And I ended up finding someone. She was also in school like me, so she was like, "Yeah, girl, like, I got somewhere to go tonight anyway." So I was like, "Perfect." So did her makeup. Hands were sweaty. Uh, I did not have her shade of foundation in my kit, but they had it in the kiosk, so that was perfect. But yeah, I ended up getting the job, working there for a month, and that was my first professional makeup artist experience.
Yeah.
But I left because I felt like I wasn't becoming the makeup artist that I wanted to.
Have you worked
Yeah.
for any other companies and retail?
Child, I tried. I tried so many times too. I applied to MAC multiple times, Sephora multiple times. And then it got to the point where my friends like Tree Beauty, Marquise Ward, Draco, they were just like, you literally don't even need to work there right now. Like you're already making things happen. And, like they had worked for MAC and things like that for years. So they were like, it's really just retail. Like you're just gonna be selling. And I was like, but I really feel like I need to be in that space to grow. And yeah, so I tried, but I never got hired.
Sounds just like me. I tell people I literally, and no exaggeration, I feel like I literally applied to Sephora like 10 times. I went on,
Maybe more. Right.
yeah, and I had one interview only because somebody that I knew worked there and she was
Oh.
able to give me an interview, but they didn't hire me. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think I interviewed for MAC maybe 2 or 3 times. The first time I just went on the first interview. The second, I never even made it to the second one. I never even made it to the hands-on girl. And the
They are
recruiter
hard.
in this area at the time was she was a
Mm,
bitch. Okay. She was famous for being that. And when I found
really?
out that she didn't even have makeup experience, she was just corporate. And the way she used to be dragging people, like the last interview I went on, she was like, going around the room, she told me I had like this little highlight under my brow at the time. She's like, nobody's doing that. The other girl, she's like, your brows are boxy. Nobody's doing that anymore.
Now
Like,
she's going in.
girl, it was so bad.
Lord Jesus.
I was like, yeah, maybe this just is not for me. So I just decided to
Yeah.
take another direction with it because that's one thing about me. I'm not gonna keep on trying. I'm gonna just take it as a sign. Like maybe that's not the direction I'm supposed to go in. Maybe I'm supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be doing something else.
Yeah, I remember the last time I tried to get an interview. I just pulled the most old school move ever. I went up there and I was like, I need a job, and I was like, is a hiring manager in? And she's like, yes. I was showing her my work.
Mm-hmm.
She did not give a fuck about it. She didn't care about that.
What can you
She
sell?
was like, do you have 2 years retail experience? And I was like, no, but I can get that right now. 2 years from now, I'll have it,
Yeah, if you hire me.
Yeah, so she was like, okay, we'll go ahead and apply online. And nothing happened. It was cricket.
I swear, I just thought about this, but trying to get a job retail and makeup is just like graduated from college. Like, and they're like, oh, you need
Yes.
experience. I'm like, I can't get the experience unless you hire me. How am I
1+1 = 2, friend. Like, let's start
out?
with the stepping stone. I need to get the job first. Exactly.
It's a hot mess. Oh my gosh. So how would you sum up your beauty industry journey so far? Has it been good? Has it been fulfilling? Scary? What would you say?
Yep. Every word you
All the
just
things.
said, yes, all the things. I think it's been fulfilling, but there have absolutely been times where I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make my rent. I don't think I'm gonna make it in this industry. I don't think I'm gonna make it in every capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But there has just been so many moments where I'm not the one making the decisions. Like there's something internal, something super deep that I'm like, I need to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue why, but yeah, I think that would sum up my journey. It's been it's been fun. I've learned so much, uh, and I think everything is experience that I've had is the reason why I'm here
Yeah.
talking to you right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
What are
it's
some
worth it.
Yeah, what are some highlights that stand out to you? Some cool things you've gotten to do?
Cool things I've gotten to do. Stacey Abrams. That was definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
I did her for multiple shoots back in 2019. That was a highlight because they found me from Instagram. So Good
That's
Morning
familiar, right?
America. Yes, I think she's running for governor
Nice.
soon. She's not elected official just yet, but come soon come.
Yeah.
But no. So Good Morning America, I got an email and it was like GMA times Terri Watson Beauty. And I was like, this is a scam. They're trying to play me. So I went and like Googled the email address,
Yeah.
all the things. And they didn't tell me who it was for at first. So I'm just like, just give me the details, I'll be there, blah, blah. And then the next email I got was like ABC, like an exec from ABC. And I was just like, how's my name in a room like that, So they ended up telling me it was Stacey Abrams. I did her for a Good Morning America interview. We worked together a few more times. Rolling Stone, the cover of Atlanta magazine. We were supposed to do an Elle magazine shoot, but then the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
Another highlight was a Nike shoot that I had. Shout out to my friends because they were producing the whole thing. And that was a highlight because of how much I got paid.
Yes.
So as a makeup artist, like we kind of just expect people to just pay our day rate. It was a day rate type of thing. I quoted her like $1,500. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So because of COVID, it was in 2020, by the way. Because of COVID, they were like, we would like a hair and makeup person. And I don't have a hair background. However, I do have some hair training because I used to work with a hairstylist. So I've taken classes with her. Like I need to, brush up on my skills. Even before that, I was like, I need some classes because I feel like, something might happen where I need to do both, So I was telling my friend who was a producer, like, I can do like little touch-ups and things like that if you need me. I just want this job.
Yeah.
Give it to me and I'll make it. Whatever you need me to do, I'll make it happen. So then I got the invoice for $8,000.
Period.
And I was like, okay, this is going to pay for this. You already start allocating money to different things. But yeah, that was a highlight. And so I got to do I think 5 women and 2 guys. The guys are super simple. The girls were also super simple because I only had 30 minutes to do everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a nationwide campaign. So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think if there's maybe one more. I think that's it. Oh, Mark St. Martin.
I was over here thinking, I was like, if she don't say it, I would say it.
Yeah.
She looks absolutely beautiful. She's so cute, but
she's so sweet too. Like, we joke every time I do her makeup, and it just feels like a good time. Like, even her family, they're just so welcoming. Like, got to the hotel and her mom was like, "You want something to eat?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." But I think Marseille, Stacey, all of these experiences that I've had are just a testament to really, really manifesting what type of clientele I want, and also creating a space for that type of clientele to enter.
Do you think that makeup artists should know how to do hair too, just in case, or just stick to whatever makes them, comfortable?
I think they should stick to whatever makes them comfortable, especially when you're trying to juggle both. I think that whenever people are into both, unless you are just super fine, it's hard to be a master of one.
Yeah.
I think the jack of all trades thing is a little played out, because you got multiple streams of income, but both of these businesses are bad. Because even if you are like a hair and makeup artist, I think it's important to get the back end together, making sure that this business is sustainable, that it is built on a solid foundation. If you're passionate in both, do both. If you're passionate in one and not the other, don't do both.
Right, girl. Yeah. They tried to get me to do some hair before, and I was like, and like, literally, like, I think, well, this is how I feel.
Okay.
Like, if you grew up doing your hair, then you could kind of like figure it out, like the curling and all that stuff. But I grew up with natural hair all my life, so I have no experience with like curling hair and blow drying and doing all the things.
Right.
So it's like a total learning curve for me. And I was trying to get that round brush down, because we have like CNN and stuff here, and I was trying to do that at one point, but I couldn't get it. I was like, F this, I'm gonna just do makeup.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I think that's definitely a huge point. Like, if you can do your hair, if you've been doing your hair growing up, because I mean, I haven't always had short hair. And I was definitely doing my friend's hair at one point, early on. So I've always kind of just been in the beauty world, but to market myself as a hair and makeup artist, like, please do not book me for hair and makeup. Unless you're gonna pay me $10,000.
Okay.
And I'm not doing much of anything to anybody's hair.
It's been done already, so we know that the rate is out there. So
right. And I think even for the Nike shoe, I did tell them, like, I'm not doing a sew-in. If they can come hair ready, I can do touch-ups.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I still have stipulations in.
What made you pivot into education?
Good question. I did just have to explain this to my student who I was just on the phone with, well, potential student. I was overwhelmed with clientele. I was over just trading my time for money every single time. And I've always said that I have a deeper passion for like, when it comes to makeup, I've just always said, like, this is deeper. I don't know what it is, but I want to make an impact. I want to change people's lives. I want to help people be better in whatever they do. And 2020 was the first time that I felt like I could actually make that pivot. I don't think, the pandemic came with, negatives, people lost their lives. But I think for so many people on the flip side, saw the light, where they were finally able to make something shake and make something happen when they couldn't before. So 2020 was the first time that I was able to do an online course. And I was like, man, this is really what I want to do. And then quarantine was lifted in Atlanta. Clients, crazy. People just want to be outside.
Quarantine, okay?
No, for a good solid 2 weeks we were. Exactly. I promise. Yeah. But so once quarantine was lifted, people were flying in. I had one client who came all the way from California because they were on lockdown and was like, I need makeup for 3 days. Like, people just wanted to be outside so bad. So my numbers tripled in business. So again, like, my back and my knees were hurting. I was overwhelmed, and I had already had a taste of what I felt like I should be doing for real. So the end of 2020, I decided to invest in a pivot coach. Her name is Brittany Janine. And
Sure.
yeah, so
Ago.
I invested in Brittany. We had a VIP day in 2021, and I actually shut my makeup business down completely for 2021. God was kind of just telling me, like, you need to focus, you know? And yeah, so that was a really big reason. And I think on New Year's Day, 2021, like 2020 going into 2021, I had like 6 or 7 clients. And then afterwards, I was supposed to go out with my boyfriend. And I think 3 people no showed. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Because I'm just like, I could have been at home. I could have been resting. I could have been getting myself together.
Yeah.
And I already want to do something else anyways. You know, I've been holding off, you know, because I've been busy, but I'm not doing that no more. So I decided that I'm going to switch things up. And that was a hard transition for sure.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do in that time that you quit doing makeup to make money?
I was just releasing class after class, like back to back. I had my class with Brittany January 14th, 2021. February was supposed to be the launch of my first course, and then I lost my Instagram. And had COVID in the same weekend.
Oh my God.
It was a mess. So I did launch. I started a whole new Instagram, like from scratch. I think by the time I was done with that, I had maybe 800 followers, but I still hit my goal, which was 11 students enrolled, which was like $11,000 or something like that. Even with 800 followers. I say that because that's important, you know? But yeah, so I released a program called the MUA Blueprint. I released another program called Unfiltered. Well, the MUA Blueprint was an 8-week course that helped MUAs build their blueprint. So literally build their business from the ground up. Unfiltered was strictly makeup. So the MUA Blueprint didn't have any makeup in it. I was doing some one-on-ones, but for the most part, my programs were making the most money because I knew that there was a space for me to educate virtually. I just didn't have the time before. So yeah, courses, some one-on-ones was how I was slightly making the ends meet. Because was I fully? Maybe not.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I love the online world. How are you marketing these things? I think that's when I tell people that come on here and they're good at marketing. I think marketing is one of the things that I'm still kind of confused about. And people
really?
tell me that, like, you're good at marketing, but I'm like, is that what I'm doing? My marketing? I don't know, because I feel like it's such a broad term. So like when you have like those courses and everything like that, how are you marketing it to get people to enroll? Like, I don't know.
I use a couple different tactics, I guess. I like to be relatable. And I also like to use the fact that I am a great makeup artist to sell things. So I call them like makeup campaigns. So I will work with the model, and I will get like so much content, like miles and miles of content, and reuse the heck out of it. So if I have a program coming up, I'll just kind of use the model, the makeup, and talk about all of the things that's going on in the program, but not in a way to sell people, but in a way to educate people.
Right.
So education, telling people what they need to know is the best way to market, in my opinion. And then also just like brand cohesivity. Like I said, I love design. So a lot of the things on my page, I do design myself. Even like my website, you know, all of those things are designed by myself too. And for me, it's really just having fun. Like I'm always thinking, I think it's my Gemini self, but I'm always thinking like, how can I do something different? How can I create a new standard for what marketing looks like? And I feel like that allows me the grace to do something that people haven't seen before. Or in a way, like it may not be like, you know, this whole new thing. Like I didn't reinvent the wheel, but I made it innovative.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I get it. I get it because I'm always just like, I guess I do be marketing, but I think I don't know. I guess I just look at it as something. I just look at it as posting and advertising my class or something like that. But I guess it is the way that you market it, girl. I don't know.
Well, okay, so here's how I like to think of it. Branding is like the words behind a brand. Like, what words connect to your audience? Marketing is action that you use in order to get that message out.
Okay.
You're marketing.
Yeah, I totally market it. I'm like,
Totally marketing.
it's like, I guess after a while of doing it for so long, you just kind of get lost in like, what was I doing again? Like that sort of thing.
I do agree. And I think that's why it's so important. My friend, her name is Jules, dropping Jules. She should be on this podcast soon, but she is a beauty pro coach. So she coaches all beauty pros, so nail techs, all of those things. So shout out to Jules. But she basically had me do an audit on like what works, not just in my business, but also in my marketing. And I realized that number one, like a lot of things have not changed about the way that I show up online, but a lot of things have. And I think that I figured out that a lot of things had to change when I became a coach, because as a makeup artist, like I would just so easily talk about makeup, like glam, this smoky eye is giving, and just being, super animated in the things that I say. But once I became a coach, I became so unclear about what I needed to say to people.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of refocus and decide that I could keep having fun. And I had to kind of narrow down like what it is that I needed to be talking about in the first place. And I feel like when it came to marketing, I'm still trying to figure out what it is I need to say. But for the most part, how do I explain it? For the most part, I've realized that a lot of marketing is within the caption and a lot of the words on the screen. So I try to keep those as simple as possible and speaking directly to my phase 1 and my phase 2, which is the categories for my audience. So phase 1s are like newbies. Phase 2, they've been running a successful business for years. And with that, once I figured that part out, the phase 1 and phase 2s, I was so much more clear on what needed to be said and just figuring out what their pain points were. And once you can talk to people's pain points and what they want when it comes to success,
right, it's
figured out.
Yeah, it's over from there. How did you develop the confidence to be able to coach people? Because I think that's what that holds people back from educating is feeling it's the imposter syndrome. One of my friends just hit me up the other day, was like, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? I was like, just talk to somebody that knows you the shit, because you shouldn't be having no imposter syndrome.
Right.
But just developing that confidence to say, okay, I can guide these people to their desired result. Like, how did you develop that?
I think that came over time. I like to tell people that confidence is a muscle and you got to flex it often. And I don't like to believe that, faking it. And I don't like to believe in faking it until you make it. I like to believe that you need to actually have it at some point. So even though I was, I think that in the early stages of me being an educator, you could clearly see that I was unconfident. I was replicating a lot of what I saw instead of being original, maybe because I didn't feel like what I had to say or the way that I had to say it or the way that I expected it to look had any power. So I had to really kind of dig deep and figure out, like, if you want to do this, then you need to say it with your chest.
Yeah.
But then I had a friend, her name was Lauren, her name was Lauren Elise Collective on Instagram. She asked me if I ever tell makeup artists that their work is bad. And I was like, I don't really feel like I have that authority. Like, I don't really feel like I can say something like that. You know, this was maybe like 6 months ago, by the way. And she was like, don't you kind of owe that to them? And I was like, you are absolutely right. She was like, because, you can't tell people to have a successful business and they don't have great work. So that kind of created a mindset shift for me to say, I need to be more bold about the things that I know, because I know what works. And if I know what works, then I can communicate what works. And I think that that's also a huge thing too, is being able to articulate what it is that you're even trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like confidence came over time, and I needed people to instill that in me and remind me that I can say what I think, because number one, I'm going to think through it and I'm going to mean it when I say it. But also, I've created a space for people to trust me. I think that's a huge thing too, that I've realized recently as well, is that people respect what I have to say. They trust me, and I've always feared that it would be taken the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "You're so
That's
smart. Like that makes so much sense." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I was worried.
Yeah, that makes me think about a student that I had before. I was teaching makeup at this cosmetology school here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time that I had a student that just did not get it. Like she just was not getting it. It's a 6-week program. And I was like, if I could just get her to do a good brow, like just
One good brow, right?
something good by the time that she gets out of here. It was so interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to tell her like, girl, I don't think you could be a makeup artist, because it would probably just take her a little bit longer. Maybe it just wasn't natural to her.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first time I had to learn about teaching like differently, like different styles of teaching or catering to people who may be a little bit challenged. I think she probably had like a learning disability that she just probably, maybe she didn't know about, or
Right.
maybe she just didn't disclose it to me.
Yeah.
So my sister is a school teacher, and I had my sister come and sit as her model one time. And my sister was like,
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely something there. This is how you should communicate with her. So I had to get to the point where I would say, like, repeat to me what I just said to you.
Smart.
Like I would have to get her to do that, because it would be something like how this is red and green. I would like, pick up this brush, everybody pick up this brush, and she'll pick up this one. And I'm like, what's going on?
What's
Like,
going on? Right.
so it was very interesting. It had to stretch me a little bit to be able to teach like that. I was like, wow.
I will say that one-on-ones definitely stretched me a lot, because I realized that, like, in order to tell you what type of pressure to have,
Mm-hmm.
I need to hold your hand,
Yeah.
because I know that it needs to be like this, but I don't know how to say that. And then I realized that was a plus. Like, a lot of my students are like, she will literally, not just figuratively hold your hand, but she'll also literally hold your hand.
Yeah.
And I think that also definitely made me a lot more confident, because I was being stretched, like you said, and to figure out a way that allowed my students to learn in a way that wasn't just centered around me. Because I'll pick up something and be like, oh yeah, I get that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But for someone who is not a self-starter, someone who just is not, it's like things just aren't connecting, you have to be able to make way,
Yeah.
like any educator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So let's play a game of Never Have I Ever.
I'm ready.
Never have I ever. We're not going to be drinking, of course, but
Okay.
you have done this before. Share the story behind, or this has happened to you. Share the story behind it. But if not, like, what advice would you give to a makeup artist who this happens to, for them to, work through it? So,
Okay.
yes. Never have I ever had a client not like their makeup and wipe it off. Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I have something to tell you real quick. Did you know that I created a Patreon? Look, podcasting is fun. I absolutely love it, but it is not cheap. And there have been so many people who have reached out to me that want to support the show somehow and keep the good vibes flowing. So I thought, why not create a Patreon? For as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends of Beauty podcast and join a community of other loyal supporters of the show, just like you, okay? There are other tier levels available that unlock tons of exclusive Patreon-only content, like behind-the-scenes clips, bonus interview content, monthly calls with me, discounts, and so much more. But no matter what tier level you decide to choose, I appreciate you so much, and I'm going to give you a shout out on the podcast when you join. So if you'd like to be a part of the exclusive Patreon community for the Friends of Beauty podcast, I'll leave the link right here and down below in the show notes for you to join. And as always, I appreciate your support so, so much. Now, let's go ahead and jump back into the episode.
Ooh, and wipe it off in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had that happen. I did have a client. So here's what happens sometimes. Or not sometimes, occasionally, like 1 or 2 instances where I've had a client say they love their makeup and then they went home and then decided to DM me and was like, hey, you know, with this one instance, this girl, it's such an experience because she was like begging me to be a model. She was begging me. And then she eventually booked an appointment. I think that morning of the appointment, she was like, hey, I need to cancel my appointment because it's going to be raining today. And I was like, well, you'll owe 100% of the, remaining balance, And she was like, well, I'll see, what I can do. So she ended up coming to her appointment. And I mean, like, because you ain't got no choice, Right. See you soon. But she came to her appointment. I did her makeup, and it was just such weird vibes. She got to the appointment and was like, hey, could you record? I would love that. Because I mean, like, I record models and things on my page. So I think she was trying to get the model experience. I don't know. I still don't know to this day, but she was asking me if I could record. And I was like, yeah, sure, give me your phone. And she was like weird about that. Like, I think your phone will be better. I was like, what kind of phone do you have? Like, ask her like the details. Yeah. I said, oh, I got the same phone, girl. Like, let me get yours, right? So I'm recording the time lapse, all of those things. Took pictures when I was done. And then she was like, no, I asked her, I said, how do you feel about your makeup? Like, is there anything you like me to change? I ask that question every time because this is your moment. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, the blush over here is not as vibrant as the blush over here. So I asked her, which one did she prefer? She told me. I fixed it. I went to my massage. I was out. And then I got this long text message, like long DM talking about, hey, Terri, I love that you did my makeup today. However, I think this is time for constructive criticism. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what is this about to go into? Yeah, so she's like, but I think this is like time for constructive criticism. Unfortunately, my makeup looked good in person and far away on camera, but not up close on camera. And I just wish that, she said that I feel like you have something against me. All of these things. I was just like, girl, I don't know you.
Right.
Let's start from the beginning. I don't know who you are.
Personal problems.
Personal problems. It's given, I don't know what it's given, but I don't want it. So she's like, it just seems like you have something against me. Like you weren't even being friendly. I'm like, friend, me? Of all the people, me.
Right.
And even still, like, this is gonna sound harsh, but I don't owe you friendly. I owe you professional.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm not your friend. So towards the end, it was like, unfortunately, it seems like you only have social skills that only translate online and not in person. Was giving me the whole rundown. And was asking me for a refund. So I told her, number one, I appreciate you for breaking all of these things down. However, I don't think that they apply to this situation. I also said that, in order for me to not like you, I would have to know you. And unfortunately, I don't know you. And then the last thing I said was, I was talking about, the refund. I said, per this policy here, right here, it says that because of you services have already been rendered.
Right.
I gave you what you asked for. You will not be receiving a refund. I want you to have a really nice day and enjoy your week.
And take all the selfies because your makeup is fire. If you didn't want to pay the money, just say that.
Luckily for me, I asked her to airdrop me everything from her phone.
Good.
And then I posted it after I got that message because you're not about to play me.
Right. And they probably, the girls ate it up. It was like, oh, yeah.
Ate it up. And I'm like, I really killed this look. It's just giving, but because no, if I didn't have any evidence, I don't know how that would have ended. And it's funny because I was supposed to have another shoot. I had another shoot with a hair company, and two of the models I already knew, and I was super excited to work with them. I didn't know who the third model was. I got there, and the lady was like, she was on the phone with the model and was like, I guess the model was asking if she could pay for her makeup artist because she felt more comfortable. So I'm like, who's the model? Like, I mean, I know a lot of models in Atlanta, so just, and she was like, we're gonna call her Christy for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, let me tell you a quick story, because I don't know what she might do to you, and I just want to prepare you. And it turns out the girl took the lady wig, never returned it, whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just like, you are bad. You're bad vibes, and I don't like that. But so for my advice for anyone who has a client in their chair, the client doesn't like it, that can go one of two ways. Either you take responsibility, fix the makeup, and not something that you can already kind of tell if a client doesn't like their makeup. I do like to sneak peek people sometimes, but I will say that I don't keep a mirror in front of people, so they never really know what they look like. But again, take a responsibility and accountability for like, okay, this may not have been what you liked, but I can fix it. And, being, able to fix it as well. However, on the other side of that, you can still take responsibility, or you can take what they say with a grain of salt because it may not be a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think anytime that I've had a client, especially in the latter part of my career as a makeup artist, like full-fledged makeup artist, anybody that didn't like their makeup, it was a reflection of their insecurities, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Where they loved their makeup when they, before they left, and then they get home and be like, the nose, I just wish it was more contoured. I just wish my cheeks were more contoured. Like, friend, you gotta come with that face first. Like you gotta bring the face to me, because the type of artist that I am is one that's going to enhance you. If you were looking for this particular style, you should have went over there, and I could have referred you to anyone that could have made that happen. But unfortunately, you chose someone who was going to give you a 2.0 look, not a complete transformation. So
you handled that situation so well. And that's why I always tell people, whether it's business or personal life, I try my best to just treat people good, because you just never know when you're going to come across them again, or if your name will come up, or that girl, she was embarrassed. I showed my ass already, or her DM.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree. Like, one thing about me is I'm always going to be respectful, and I'm always going to treat people with kindness, no matter how they come at me. Sometimes, okay, like sometimes it does cause for some rah-rah or whatever. But I mean, like there have definitely been moments, like in the DMs, where somebody have accidentally sent me something when they were trying to sing their friend, and just like, let me educate you.
Yeah.
And I don't educate everybody about everything. Like, I'm not about to, be educating people about racism or nothing like that. But when it comes to makeup, maybe you just don't know what you need to know. And that's why you are struggling with the information right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was something that happened to me before, but that's a story for another time.
Somebody
wiped their face off in front of me. Yes, ma'am. And I won't tell the story, but I totally agree with you in the sense of like, it's totally like once you get to a certain point in your artistry, you like, it's not me, baby.
It ain't even me. Yeah.
I deliver every single time. It's very rare that I'm not on because it wasn't early in my career. It wasn't like when I first started, because if it was when I first started, I would have been like, dang, maybe I didn't do a good job. But I was well into being a makeup artist already.
Like, I know what it's giving. And it gave.
Yeah.
So she asked for a makeup wipe? How did that happen?
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell the story real quick. So I was actually doing makeup for like the Women's March here. It was like a group of makeup artists, and it was like people like coordinators and just people involved that was going to be on screen just coming to get makeup done. It was like maybe 5 or 6 makeup artists. We got there like 4:00 in the morning in this tent, cold outside. It was organized by an agency and everything like that.
But it was kind of funky from the beginning.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. So she was my first person in the chair. That's the only thing I regret, is that she was the first person in my chair. I think she was one of the coordinators, somebody that was involved with it. And she told me what she wanted. Like, it was very natural. It was very much within my aesthetic. It wasn't anything crazy, just like a golden lid and like regular makeup. And girl, she looked at that thing and she was like, I don't like it. Can I have I thought she was about to like try to correct something. I was like, whoa, like that had never happened. That's the first and only time that's ever happened to me before. And the person that organized, for us to be there, she was like, girl, it was nothing wrong with her makeup. Like, she's probably just under stress and, all this stuff. I'm like, she literally wiped her makeup off. I was like, whoa, okay, well. And it kind of threw me off too, because she, like I said, she was the first person. So I was a little like in my feelings, like she got me messed up. Like,
right, like she messed up the whole vibe. Like, now I gotta now I'm second guessing every person that comes after her.
Exactly.
Girl, that was a mess. And I would have been like, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
I'll never forget that. One thing I love about you, and I was so excited to talk to you today, is that I love your social media. Like, your social media is so popping. I love the way it looks. I love the information that you share. Your models always look like, your aesthetic is just fire. I just love your aesthetic. But do you have any tips for people who are struggling with their social media as far as like creating content to push people to whatever they're offering, whether that's a makeup service or a course or something like that?
Yeah, I have so many things to say, so I'm gonna keep it simple. Number one, keep it simple. That's my first piece of advice. And I say keep it simple because we are so influenced by social media that we feel like we have to overcompensate for the lack of likes, the lack of business, all of those things. Like, one thing that I like to do is I like to do these like 4-second to like 10-second reels to kind of keep people invested longer, and not like where they're watching the full video, but they're watching it over and over and over again. Like, I like to like throw little things in there to where they're like, did I miss that? Like, what, and they have to go back and watch it one more time. And then I'll say also, when it comes to content, you need to be gathering enough content that'll last you for 2 months in one session.
Yeah.
And that means that you also need to expand your mind to how you can reuse these things. That's always been my motto, is like, I will create new content, but I will also make sure that if I have a model in August and my next model is not until September, that I have enough content from that model to carry me through and enough creativity to make up some other shit in between. Yeah. So when it comes to creating content specifically, like when you're working with a model, like in the moment, try new things. I think we get so kind of wrapped up in creating content the same way, like, the videos where you just kind of ask your clients to like open and close their eyes. I hate those videos so much. I like with a passion, because they're just so awkward. You can tell that the model or the client feels awkward, you're awkward, especially like when this is the best way I can explain it, and I'll give you a comparison example. So if there's a before picture or before video, that needs to be less than 2 seconds, or like flashes of it, throughout the process. Okay. But I do not want to see the before for more than 10 seconds. Because now we just looking at each other with no makeup on, both of us, and then, that shifts into the after, of course. I think that before and afters are a little played out. And the best way to get content that's always going to work is recording the process. Okay. So setting up a tripod in front of your model, or setting up a tripod across the room so that you can film this whole, get down, people want to get into your world. That's why people watch YouTube. That's why people watch, Keeping Up with Kardashians. They want to see what's going on. behind you. They also want to get into your brain, and I feel like the best way to get into someone's brain is to see the start to finish. So my two best pieces of advice are to keep it simple and to spend enough time with your model to carry you into your next model. And don't be afraid to post it too. I think that's another thing. Okay, so I got three and I'm done. Post it, because now you are a hoarder. You're just hoarding content for no one's benefit. Like, at what cost? And it's literally costing you nothing, and you're not making any money. So now we're not spending money, we're also not making money, and you're overwhelmed because you keep thinking about how you have backed up photos. So you're overwhelmed at the fact that you haven't posted. We're also overwhelmed at the fact that you keep taking models, and then you keep having more content. You need to go back and post, or you need to post what you have now and then make your way back in the future. So now you got this revolving door of content. But yeah, I think one thing for me when I first started, I'm gonna make this quick. When I first started, I was like hyper focused on finding a photographer that worked for me, because I really wanted to be in print, but I couldn't. So I was like, I need to find a way to make content work for me. I don't want to wait on anybody else. And the best way for me to do so was with video. And then I quickly realized that video was the best way for me to be a better artist. So I would get as close as possible to the makeup, like zooming into my, the model's face on the camera, really to see what other people saw, but also because I really wanted to maximize the content. So I would post it like where it was zoomed out, and then I would post it close up. Now that's two different posts. And now I'm gonna turn the whole picture upside down, and that's the third post. Like I literally just I was so focused on making sure that my content always worked, no matter if I posted it today or 3 years from now.
I love that. What lights do you use, by the way?
I use a Lowell Pro.
Okay, yeah.
I've tried the Tota, but the Tota feels like I have been shipped to hell. It feels
a desert.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? And we used to be in a much smaller. So I work with B for Beauty. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes. Oh
yeah. So
I love her artistry too.
Yeah, we have a studio together. And also, well, it's her studio, but I have a space in there. So B for Beauty, and then Jasmine. I can never remember the pronunciation of Jasmine's Instagram, but what was I saying? I just forgot.
The lights.
Lights. Thank you. So I use a Lowell Pro. We used to be in a much smaller studio, and I used a Tota, and it was the devil himself in the flesh.
Yeah.
I use a Lowell Pro. Recently, I've been using one newer panel. I do have both. I don't know where the second one is. I feel like we lost it somewhere. But I just haven't seen it in like 2 years, damn near. So when I do use a newer panel, I like to have that as close as possible. It's pretty bright, but it's not as powerful as the Pro. So I like to keep it close. And then for the Lowell Pro, I like to have that about 4 to 6 steps away. And then I like to have it all the way up and tilt it down.
I like that. I need to bring out my Pro. I think one of my door hand with a panel thing, I think it broke. So that's why I haven't been using it.
Oh girl, take that thing off. You don't need it always.
Oh, okay.
Take it off. Okay. Yeah, the barn doors. I think that's what they're called. I don't use those anyways. Honestly, I don't know what they do, so I take them off.
Yeah,
I haven't figured out like, okay, if I move it this way, is it making a difference? And the truth is, no. The only thing that I think makes a difference is that knob on the side where it creates a bigger spotlight or a smaller one. But I'll never mess with that. But the barn doors, they're gonna come off for you.
Okay. And one last, I guess, beauty related question. How are you advising your mentees on setting their rates? Because somebody asked me the other day, and I'm not a very technical person when it comes to my rate, like breaking down like how many faces I can get from this foundation, the cost. Like some people get real technical like that. How do you advise them on their rates?
I created a calculator.
Okay.
I was like, I can't, me telling you that your worth is based in a foundation does not translate. It still doesn't equate to why. Like, why do I need to do this? And how does it make sense for me in the long term? Because then how do I scale? Because if I'm not buying more expensive foundations, but I took some classes, then what does that mean? You know? So my calculator, and I'll share that with you, but the calculator, basically it uses like a base rate of $75. And then it looks at your expenses. So you input all of those numbers because your rates need to, at the least, cover what you're paying in lifestyle. Right. So, for example, I think my calculator likes to give me like $250, but that's based on my expenses. And then I have a second calculator called client goals. So the first one is MUA rates made easy. And then client goals basically says like, okay, at this rate, you need to be taking this many clients to make sure that you hit this particular goal. I'm not a technical person, but I think that people always need to know why. So when it comes to rates, I will tell people like, you are undercharging the industry in general. And my favorite thing is tiers. You don't need those. You know, like people just don't need tiers, especially because people will always choose the ladder. They'll always choose the cheapest, and they get in your chair and they're like, I know I chose natural, but could you put 17 million rhinestones on my right eye and then 18 on the left? Like, ma'am, I don't even remember how much rhinestones cost as an add-on. So I like to tell people that if you're going to be a makeup artist, you need to have one rate, and that rate needs to be all inclusive. You shouldn't be asking people to bring lashes. You shouldn't be asking people to, you know, bring their own lip. You need to be providing those services, and the best way to do so is to get people to pay you so that you can, you know, pay for other things. But leading up to rates, I do tell people that they need to be practicing. They need to be practicing for free so that they can make money in the future.
Absolutely. What's your least favorite thing about running your business?
Oh, child. My least favorite thing. I will say that I really do love my job. I'm so passion fueled every single day where I'm just like, wow, I get to do this. My least favorite thing is probably like emails, like that back end marketing. I hate doing the back end for myself. I hate it. It's just one of those things where I know it has to be done, but it's so intense, it's so tedious, where, you know, and you know, like people just assume like, oh, like Terri released a thing, but you don't know that Terri just spent 6 days mapping out a 14 email funnel that made sure it connected to the other program so that you could, you know, get a follow-up, you know, offer. And then that follow-up offer has another 6, you know, count email funnel as well. It's so much. And that's another reason why I had to, you know, kind of sit on my ideas, because I would, you know, launch and be like, I have so much work to do. But I will say that now with my 3-month coaching program, which is one-on-one, it's a mentorship style. That makes it so, I have not launched anything in the past 6 months. The first like year and a half of my business was just launching, and that was the worst. You're talking about crying like every day because I was just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then, you know, like I'm building out these extensive programs, which I will come out with another program soon, but the thing for me was I was building out this entire program and then I was having to sell it. I need y'all to pay me back, you know? And not just pay me back, but you know what I mean? It was overwhelming, to say the least, to think about the fact that everything that I had was riding on if one person paid me. And I had this big goal of 20 people, and it was overwhelming. And I remember one time I broke down crying, like, only 2 people invested in the program. And then my boyfriend was like, you know, it's gonna be okay. I got back to my computer and then 2 more people had enrolled, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, but I hated that feeling. I hated feeling inadequate, and I feel like it reminded me that I don't have it. And I don't know why it made me feel like that, but I think at that point I started comparing myself and all of those things. So I switched my business model to 3-month coaching. That has been a dream. So I have about 8 VIPs right now. VIP mentees is what I like to call them. And for the most part, I would say like half of them are working on launching a digital product. So they're like more established, and every day just feels so fun. You know, like I think the content calendars, like when I do create like content calendars for them. We go through like financial analyses.
Yeah.
I'm like the do it with you type of coach. So I will say that is the most fun because I really do get a chance to create rapport and relationships with these people. Like you talk about like rooting for them from start to finish, like when they hit 10K, when they sell their first digital product, when like milestones are being hit, and that's so much more rewarding than what I was doing before. And I think, you know, that's another thing when it comes to coaching is because you think that it's only one way to do it. Like I've just been telling people like, okay, like this is what I'm working on with this one client. And then I get an email that somebody booked an interest call. And then I secure her in the same day. But that's because number one, there was space for me to do something like this because I don't think there's any other makeup artist coaches that are coaching long-term outside of like a group coaching program, which it is hard to scale, but I'm not worried about that right now because I'm having a great time. So being present as always.
Yes, I love that. What are you working on your legacy to be at the end of the day?
What am I working on my legacy to be?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is
about you.
Let me sit up. Oh, geez. What am I working on my legacy to be? That is such a great question that I'm going to ponder on. And I feel like I'm going to DM you later. Like, I know I said this, but here's my real answer. I'm working on my legacy to be that Terri Watson Beauty was such a household name. Like, I'm thinking like 10 years from now, at least, right? In 10 years, because I think anything past that, I'm like freaking out. 10 years from now, I want people to say that Terri Watson Beauty was a household name that created space for makeup artists to thrive with no boundaries. And she really encouraged makeup artists to take their power back and not allow other people to create narratives and expectations for them and kind of do things on their own terms with intention. I feel like there's something else I need to say. That was good so far though. And then maybe lastly, I want people to know what kind of person I was or am. I want people to know that I'm always kind. I'm always going to root for your success, no matter if that's the same success that I've had or if it goes past me. I want you to do better things. You know, that's the kind of space that I want to create for other makeup artists is being able to do better than those who came before you, you know, like creating new standards and kind of shaking shit up.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
This has been so exciting. I know we talked for quite some time, but I was just telling my friend this morning, it's very rare lately that I get another makeup artist on the podcast.
I noticed that. So I was like, I wonder, like, what are we going to talk about? Because it's usually just like people who are kind of in the beauty space. It's not necessarily makeup artists.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got another makeup artist we could, I could relate to and chat.
Really chat it up. Yes.
Before I let you go, I have to ask you the rapid fire questions, the Friends of Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to you, just, spit it out.
Okay.
So first one, what are your top 3 keys to your success so far?
Top 3 keys to my success: consistency, patience, and preparation for change.
How do you measure your success?
By the success of my students.
Okay.
If you are making strides in your business, if we are hitting our goals one by one, even, that means that I'm doing something right. Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever received or a piece of advice that just always stuck with you?
Piece of advice has always stuck with me. Sir John talking about wiping Beyonce's makeup off if he didn't feel right about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
wipe it off himself, but she ain't wipe it off for him.
Right. But yeah, that kind of just taught me to that I can mess up, but I can fix it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to another makeup artist right now, makeup artist and educator like you, who is just not seeing the results that they want to see in their business, and they're just like, you know what, maybe I should just give up on this?
I would tell them, to reset their priorities, because sometimes it's not your season. And I think that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, like, you want to make sure that you are focusing on what needs to be focused on at this moment. So I know, like, when I'm first moving to my apartment, I was like, oh my gosh, with my business, I'm just not getting things done like I want to. But the truth is, I needed to get my apartment together, you know? And sometimes when things are slow, when things are not happening the way they need to in your eyes, it may be time for you to focus on something that'll help build it. So instead of just focusing on the makeup, like, you know, you're not getting clients. Okay, well, let's build out this website. Let's, you know, build out this social media. Let's post, you know, things like that. So reset your priorities.
Yeah. What's a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
It's a good question. Sarah Jakes Roberts podcast, is it Woman Evolve?
Yeah, I think it's Woman Evolve.
Oh yeah. Sarah, she just feels like, the fact that I can call her Sarah, she just feels like such a homegirl, you know. And I feel like hearing that podcast, especially because it is somewhat entrepreneurship, like faith-based, it feels like I'm getting insight into things that I have not experienced yet.
Okay.
I can't explain it. Like, I love to listen to other people's stories so that I don't have to experience it, or I know how to better navigate it when I get there. So definitely Woman Evolve podcast. I think that's my only resource.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
My name is first and last name?
However you want to say it.
Okay, my name is Terri Watson, and my key to longevity is, that's a good one. My name is Terri Watson. My key to longevity is resilience. Because it's in our DNA. Even as babies, we literally fall and get back up. You know, the long game is about you never quitting, or quitting and making shit happen fast. You know, and that's why I say, like, you know, preparation for change as well, because if a baby can't climb on this direction, they're gonna go around and figure out a way to get over on that side. So it's still resilience, but also making sure that you are always finding your way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you so much. Before you go, share your social media information and how people can connect with you and, you know, schedule their calls if they want coaching and everything from you.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram at Terri Watson Beauty, Terri with an I. You can also find my podcast, which is Between the Beat podcast, which is a podcast for MUAs. I only have like a couple more, maybe like one spot left. I don't even know if I can take 10 VIPs, but I'm prepared. Okay, prepared for change, like I said. But you can book that at the link in my bio to like do an interest call. And pricing and all of those things are on the website as well. We don't do like the, you know, the thing where you just keep things hidden. I like for you to know, you know, ahead of time. I will be releasing a course soon for my phase 1, which is my newbie artist. No announced date yet, TBA. And then lastly, I'm hoping to have another event soon. If you want to attend an event of mine, you can just shoot me a DM. Always just shoot me a DM. I'm pretty friendly. I'm always in a DM. So if you want to ask me a question, if you want to know anything prior to booking anything or diving deeper, feel free to just shoot me a DM.
Yay. Thank you so much, Terri.
Thank you for having me.
This is awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.